Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel for the first time in a very long time, or at least it feels like a very long time. I know it has been weeks since I have been able to record for you. I apologize for that. We've just had like an endless stream of sickness in our household between the kids and then myself, and every time we all get better it starts all over again. And then you throw in all the Christmas stuff and the shopping and the activities and all the things you have to do, and it's really just been very hard for me to find a little bit of time to squeeze in a review. So that's what I'm going to try to do today. Again, I am on a very short time frame, so I apologize for this sort of lackluster scene. This wasn't really what I had envisioned, but I just don't have enough time to play with it anymore. And I do want to get this review up for you guys. So that's what we're working with today. We're going to be talking about Blankets and Snowflakes from Kringle Candle. This is one of their holiday fragrances this year, or I should say from the holiday lineup. It's really not necessarily a holiday fragrance to me. This has been out for a while. It actually was released in the big 4-wick format as well. So considering it's more of a wintry fragrance, I sort of saved this towards the end. I think this may end up being included in sort of an after Christmas sale. Usually after the holidays, they do have some good deals going on with a lot of their winter fragrances. So I do feel like it's still relevant. So for those who haven't tried it yet, maybe you're still on the fence, hopefully this will help you decide if this is a good one for you. And just so you guys know, this was sent to me as a free candle to review for you guys as PR, and I thank you guys for all the support in my ambassadorship and using my code Simply Scented. I know several of you have been using it even over my little sort of hiatus here, and I appreciate that. And every single order helps, believe me guys. I have 2 other candles here that I was able to purchase because of that, and I'm hoping to squeeze in another video before Christmas talking about those, and that's gingerbread and frosting, and Tranquil Winter. So hopefully I will be able to get that posted. But thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart, and I hope you are all surviving the holiday season. I feel like it's going so quickly this year. But getting back on track, let's talk about Blankets and Snowflakes. So Kringle describes this as comforting, luxurious, cozy cashmere and crushed peppercorn, joined with soft lavender essence and sheer citron, draped over musk-infused sandalwoods. We have top notes of fougere, fresh, mid notes of cashmere, spice, and floral, and base notes of sandalwood and musk. All right, you guys, so I actually had to look up what fougere meant, and it is the French word for fern. But for our purposes here today in terms of fragrance, apparently it is a sort of fragrance profile commonly used in men's cologne. And some of the descriptors that I was able to find were grassy, green, woodsy, fresh, herbaceous. So my take is that this is one of those things that, depending on how it's used, depending on what it's paired with, can kind of take on different tones. So for our purposes here today with Blankets and Snowflakes, this, you guys, is a very sort of warm, masculine-leaning cologne type. That's the key takeaway with fougere and being used in men's cologne. That is very much in keeping with what I'm smelling here, because that was the first thing that struck me was, oh, this is a cologne sort of fragrance. And when I talked about, or I should say, when I reviewed Christmas in Manhattan, I talked about that one having sort of a slight masculine lean, just a little bit of a cologne quality to it. Now this one, on the other hand, this is like the full lean. This is all the way into that sort of cologne realm. So if you don't like that sort of fragrance profile, you're probably not going to like this one. I'm finding this to be somewhat of a heavy fragrance as well. So let's talk a little bit more about it. I said it's very warm. I'm getting a lot of the sandalwood here. The base of sandalwood seems to kind of permeate through all the layers, and it's giving it the woods, a little bit more of a woodsy element as well. But it's very much a warm fragrance. And the cashmere piece, and then you've got that little bit of spice. They say peppercorn. That's probably really the only spice that I could even put a label to here. It's not like a spicy scent, but I do see that bit of peppercorn because it's adding a little bit more not a full-blown heat to it, but everything about those elements sort of lean to that sort of warm side. So the snowflake side, we've got a little bit of freshness here, but I wouldn't call this cool in any way. There's a little bit of floral here too as well. And I couldn't tell you specifically what sort of floral note I'm getting, but just like a slight hint of powderiness mixed in here. And that could be a little bit of the musk coming into play as well. But just the hint of that powderiness, maybe just a light blanket of snowflakes, like the fresh snow, just a little flurry overnight, that nice clean blanket. But as far as a snowy element, it's not really a snowy sort of scent. We're more focused on the blankets here, that warmth. Very much your like sort of cabin, like your man in the woods in the cabin. This is like very in keeping with that sort of tone. And I'll be honest, guys, I liked it more on cold than I do burning. I think that's really because this is not really the type of fragrance profile I enjoy in my home. But if my husband were to wear it, I think I'd be a lot more on board with it. Because it is a really nice scent. So I'm kind of torn. It's something that I don't find myself wanting to reach for. I kind of had to force myself to reach for this one to burn it for you guys. And it's something that I don't think I would be repurchasing again. It's just a little bit too much cologne for me to be using in my open floor plan. I don't really have the opportunity to burn in my bedroom. This is probably a little bit more bedroom appropriate to my nose. So maybe if I did, I would like it a little bit more there. But as far as my open concept space, it's not really what I'm looking for. But I will say, if you're going to be picking this up after Christmas, I feel like it's very much winter appropriate. There's really nothing sort of holiday about it. So if you're kind of over it, you want something new that doesn't really have a big tree element, that doesn't really have too much spice to it, this might be a nice change of pace, especially on a nice snowy day. It's really a nice fragrance. So I don't want to take away from that just because it's not really my preference. I guess if we were to compare it to anything else, I would say if you think about the Bath & Body Works flannel, it's sort of in that family. If you're familiar, I think a lot of you have probably smelled flannel at some point or something similar. It's very much in that sort of territory, but I feel like this is a little bit more complex, a little bit more elevated than flannel. I find it a little bit more enjoyable in that sense. If you are familiar with Kringle's Northern Lights, which was discontinued recently, but that one was sort of the opposite of this. That one was very cool, fresh, sort of masculine. This is like a very sort of similar profile in that masculine, wintry fragrance, but it's the warm side. So if you kind of took Northern Lights, flipped it to warmth, this is sort of in that sort of genre. So if you enjoyed that, you might like this one too. If you liked, I think it was called Coral from Summer, I feel like that had a very heavy sandalwood sort of element to it as well. If you liked the sandalwood in that, I only had the wax melts of it, so I'm not sure how the candle translated, but I got a lot of that sandalwood and coral, and this is sort of a very similar sandalwood note. So if you enjoyed that one, you might enjoy this one as well. And guys, in terms of performance, it's been pretty good. I haven't had any issues with the burn. It's not burning hot. It's not burning, sooty or dirty or anything like that. The intensity, I actually feel like for my preferences, it's a little too intense. I would say intensity in like the 7 range and throw like a 7-8 depending. If I really get it going, it will definitely fill my open concept space, but personally I find I need to have it in a little bit smaller doses. I'm not really it's just a little too heavy for me to want to be getting the most out of it in terms of strength. So I didn't really use this one in a hurricane at all. I was getting enough out of it on its own, but if you want a little bit more, either a hurricane or I suspect the 4 wick will probably be quite a strong performer. So maybe pick up the wax melts first, make sure you like it. But performance wise, I haven't had any issues from this one. And again, I don't think it's a bad fragrance. It's just not necessarily my preference, but I do think it's very nicely done for a sort of masculine cologne, wintry, after Christmas sort of scent. So that's my take on it, guys. I hope that helps you decide if maybe you want to pick this one up at some point. And as always, I thank you guys for watching. If you want to hit that like button, if you want to subscribe, get alerts for my new videos coming up, when hopefully I get to do them a little bit sooner than later, that would be wonderful. And I appreciate every single one of you. I hope you are surviving the holiday season, finding joy whatever way you can. And if this is a tough time for you, I totally understand that as well. And, I send all my love. I hope you guys are well and take care. And I hope to talk to you very soon with another review.